What's up, everyone? It's your boy Josh. Slaving away on Toxic again. Just thought I'd share a little tip and trick video on battery charging. Something I used to do when I did custom car audio. And I used to have to charge, 18, 32 batteries at once. Getting the little alligator clips and stuff are annoying, and they're not bulletproof. Somebody could accidentally put the positive on the negative, or any kind of multitude of things. Or I see one thing, I see that I see guys, and they'll have two bare posts sticking out of the ass end of their car, and they're like 3 inches apart, and they're trying to gingerly play like the game when you were a kid, Operation, to get both charging tabs on there without arcing out and catching the whole car on fire and all kinds of other stuff. I'm lazy. I don't like to think about stuff. I like to know that if I tell somebody, hey, plug my car in real quick, they're not going to do something backwards or arc it out and burn it to the ground or any kind of nonsense like that. So here's something I was taught. Oh man, I don't know. I'm too old. 25 years or so ago, maybe even longer. Maybe 28, 27. But these things work great. Proven technology, because they've been around forever, and you can get these connectors in different amperages all the way up to, at least that I know of, 300 amp, because that's what I used to run in my car audio van when I did SPL. So you probably most commonly see them on electric forklifts if you've ever been around one. These things work great. They slide together. They only slide together one way. Your positive will always go to your positive. Your negative will always go to your negative. Somebody can't hook them up backwards because they're staggered. They don't work like that. They only work this way. So you can mount this somewhere. These look small, but these are good for 50 amps, which is more than enough for my charger. I have we did the XS 16 volt system that comes with the charger. It's a real nice charger. So far it seems to work real well. But, like everybody else, like I said, they have these plugs on there, and they seem like good quality plugs. Not knocking their product at all. But like I said, I like stuff to be as foolproof and able to be maintained by just about anybody with as little thought as possible. I would much rather plug one of these in and start my charging than, like I said, be dicking around with these, worrying about them touching each other and arcing out or anything like that. I want simple and as maintenance free as possible. So in my world, this is it. So this system too, there's a little bit of cost. But like I said, for me, the additional $20-$30 in material, and this whole project's probably going to take me about 2 hours. I could just slap this on anywhere, yes, but I'm not doing that. I put a little more thought into it, and I want it to be a little nicer than just bolting this somewhere easily with some easy access. So my plan is, I've got this piece of aluminum angle iron here, and I'm going to mount that to my gas door, and then I'm going to mount this to here, and then this plug will go on my charger, and that way I can flip the gas door open and just plug those two together, turn my charger on, and start charging. This particular system's nice because it comes with these little rubber boots to protect it, so when I'm not charging the vehicle or whatever, I can help protect the contacts from getting corrosion, getting moisture and oxidizing by simply sliding this little rubber boot on. It is easy to do, not so much with one hand while trying to film, but even at that, you see it ain't the worst thing in the world. It really does fit on there pretty quick and simple. There you go. So that's a nice feature for me. That way on the vehicle side, charger, you don't really have to worry about that so much. Typically it's not out in the elements, but now that I'm talking about it on this video, I probably will go ahead and put one on the charger side as well. I don't know, for the extra 50 cents, why not protect my investment, right? So these are what you connect your wire into. It's a 50 amp, these are built for a 50 amp circuit. So you, the leads that are on the charger, I'm not going to extend them or anything. And they do have 8 or 10 gauge wire coming off the charger already. This lug is made for 8 gauge wire to go into. So I'll cut the ends off, strip the wire back, you know, this far so it comes all the way in. And then I'll double hex crimp it for a nice mechanical bond. And then I'll still go ahead and solder it as well, so that I get good adhesion, get a good bonding to the lug, and the solder will help protect from corrosion. Then we'll double adhesive heat shrink it 2 times, you know, up to about here. That way we can just keep as much moisture and condensation out of there as possible. And again, an extra 5 minutes, an extra 10 cents worth of stuff, 20 cents worth of stuff will help this stuff last a lot longer. You know, on electrical wires, the main culprit, 2 main things that really wear a wire out is corrosion and oxidation. And you don't want to find out at a race that your battery charger isn't working because the wire's all corroded halfway back and you don't have the stuff to fix it. And bending back and forth, just like anything else, you know, bend stuff back and forth enough, it breaks. Metal, you know, we've all bent metal until it breaks. Same thing happens at a connection with a wire, so it's always a good idea to solder it so that the solder goes past the connection here, past the end of this barrel towards the wire, and helps lengthen that and give it a little more rigidity. And then putting the heat shrink on there 1 or 2 times. I just prefer twice. It's no big deal. Somebody may only prefer once, but I just prefer to put it on there 2 times to give me more thickness and more rigidity at the connection, so it's less bending here. And in my mind, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't have any data to support it, but in my mind, that allows me to not have to worry about that bending back and forth. So these are great. I love these. I'm going to just do a real simple mount here. Like I said, I got this piece of aluminum, and I'm going to put it in my gas door like so, and then I'll mount the plug on this end, and I'll just be able to simply open the gas door and plug them in, and it'll be no big deal. I think I'm also going to go ahead and just make a trim panel across here out of some aluminum, just hide all that stuff and help keep moisture and condensation out from the inside a little bit better. But I am going to make a closeout panel for this hole as well. So let's see how I do that. Alright, so you see I got the start of my closeout panel. And there's 2 studs that hold the gas door that protrude through the other side of the panel. So it's real simple. You see I got the studs here, which if you're looking at it from the inside would be on the right hand side. So I lined the left hand side up as best I could, and then I simply just pressed on here. I don't know if you can, I don't know if the camera will pick up that slight, you can kind of see right there, that slight indentation. And up here, yeah, there you can kind of see the shadow right there. But that gave me just enough that I could fill it in with Sharpie so I could really see it. It gives me the opportunity to take this step bit, unibit, whatever, and just drill some holes right through the chipboard. Now, these holes are messy. That doesn't really matter. I'll take a razor knife to them real quick and we'll just clean them up. But as far as them being perfectly round or whatever, that doesn't matter. Yeah, this blade's dull, but I mean, you get the point. Just take a razor knife with a sharp blade and clean up that trash so it can fit down nice and flat. Alright, so here's the inside of the gas door. You can see the next thing we need to clearance is the hinge system. Fortunately, this part doesn't really move. We just have this little spring here that moves, but there's not a lot of movement here, so we don't have to worry about, like, sometimes this whole hinge will articulate. Thankfully we don't have to worry about that, but we still do need to, the next step is clearance for that. So now that we know where these two holes are in the panel, we can hold this up here roughly and just kind of keep them centered the best we can. And then I'll go to the other side of the panel and trace out where that hinge is. Another thing I always do is I always add a direction. So you can see here, I put up. I know it might sound weird, might sound stupid or crazy, but let's say this hinge is off a 1/16 of an inch either direction, and this panel is something where I could easily go here or here and be similarly close, but maybe that 1/16 of an inch or whatever will have me chasing my tail. So what I didn't do here, that I should also have done, that I'd like to do, so the direction is up and this is the inside. This is the inside of the vehicle that we're working from. So this template, this needs to be the inside of the panel. That way we're accurate with everything we do. If I set this down and I come back to it a week later, again, I don't make a mistake. I don't invert it or something goofy. I mean, anything could happen. I like to leave myself notes. And also, it's another strategy I like to use just in general as much as possible. If I don't have to remember this or remember there's a slight nick up here, and that makes it the top right hand corner. If I don't have to use my brain power to remember all these little idiosyncrasy things, I can just look at this, then I can focus more intently on other things. I know it might sound crazy, but basically it's proven we only have so much CPU power per day. So why use it on something when you could just leave yourself a note and keep on moving. So I've marked it here. So I'll take a square and plot this out with nice, straight lines. And I'll take my scissors, trim that section out. We'll fit it up again and see where we end up with at that point. All right, so you can see I got my notch done. And I probably talked myself into doing this since I just went on so much about it. But I set this on here. I'm like, oh yeah, it looks great. And I go to the other side to trace the opening out. And once I'm on the other side, I see this upside down through the hole. And I guess that just goes to prove, and it was totally unintentional or whatever. I didn't do it for, I'm not making this portion of it up for content, but I mean, it just goes to show you that this can save you, because I was getting ready to make a mistake. I'd already been laying this out and pressing this out. I'm not sure if it translates much, but this area here needs to be trimmed out some more. Everything else seems to fit real nice. So I had one of these other corners, I guess it would have been this corner, where I was getting ready to trim out this much and ruin the perfectly good template. Just off a simple mistake. Simple mistakes happen. It's happens to everybody. I know a lot of times people don't put that kind of stuff in their content, but that's why it's good to do stuff like this. Just a friendly little reminder to help save you some save you some headaches. So I'm just pressing this down. You can kind of, I don't know if you can tell or not, but you can kind of see it's an arc. So we're going to match the wheel tub. We're going to match that arc. Trim this out, and this should fit nice and flat. And right now I'm going to go to the other side and trace the profile for the opening out onto the other side of the template. Let me see. Then I'll trace that out, which I'm not going to cut this out, but I need to know where my angle iron or my aluminum angle is going to lay at inside this hole. I already have it traced out on the angle, so now I need to line that up with this and lay this out so that I can put the hole for the plug to come through, and hopefully be done soon. So one of those things that's kind of unnecessary in a race car, but for me, just put a little rubber gasket there. That way, as it's driving, I had a little whatever, so instead of cutting it off and throw it away, I just put it there. But this way the panel won't rattle. It's one less thing rattling in the vehicle. It's a race car, so there's that, and it shouldn't be a lot of people don't do stuff like this, but just my thinking is less rattling, less noises, the more I can hear what's going on with the car, what's going on with it, where it's happening, etc. Plus, stupid little harmonic rattles are just annoying sometimes, so got rid of that in theory. Alright, so you can see I skipped a few steps, but I mean, basically, it was drilling holes, and then drilling holes, and I put nuts with Nylox on there so it can't vibrate loose. So I did manage to lay everything out pretty well. And this, if it'll focus, you see this little lip here, I just left that protruding just a hair so that I know when I snap these together, the carbon fiber plate isn't interfering with the electrical connection. So what you'll see when the gas door is open is this. Minus, well, got to figure something out here because I wasn't able to get that to stick through a lot. So I'll probably figure out some way to fasten that so it doesn't come off and get annoying. So I definitely want that protection, but I'll do that after this is mounted in the panel, in the body panel. I'll figure out what to do with this rubber seal. So I've skipped a couple steps because filming just makes these projects take so much longer and I just need to get stuff done. But basically the only thing you missed is I drilled a few holes, riveted this stuff together, and did create the baddest charging port in all of No Prep Racing, perhaps Prepped Racing as well. We got our little cover on there. Bada bing, bada boom. This is just a brake line clamp. Notice that this isn't tight in there, but that it can't come out. That way it doesn't wear out prematurely. We can keep everything nice and protected from the weather and elements. Looks good. This could have certainly been, I probably could have closed this distance in by half that amount, but it is what it is. That's probably my only, what I ended up doing was shifting everything over just a little bit. You can see I put big fat rivets in here, big beefy heads, so that it would hold the 1/4-inch aluminum. I know people will probably say it's overkill, but I mean, I'm shaking the hell out of it right now and that whole mount doesn't move. Everything fits nice. So with all the plugging and unplugging over the years that'll happen, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about this coming loose. Again, bolts, nylocks, rivets, nylocks, all stuff that doesn't come loose. So we don't have to worry about tire shake or this or that. We got our gasket around there just to help keep it from rattling. Carbon fiber, just for some lightweight cool. Like I said, even though lightweight doesn't really matter to me, the cool appearance and the fact that I don't have to sand and prime and paint an aluminum panel. Ching! So I hope this helped inspire you to do something like this. Take a little extra time, man. Enjoy your project. You know, I'm really happy and satisfied with that. Is it necessary? No. Did I spend 3 hours on it that I could have spent on something else? Yes. Unfortunately, what I thought was going to take about 2 hours ended up taking about 3. However, I love it and it's done. After I do all my trim panels in here, I'll crimp the wires, put them in, run them up along here nice and safely over to the battery, which is there, and charging will be a breeze. So get out in the garage, do some work to make yourself proud, make you love your project a little bit more, and I hope you picked up something useful out of this video. Appreciate you tuning in. Like, subscribe, all that crap, comment, share, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.